Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Carrie B and I'm going to be going over my leg workout with you guys today. I get questions often about how do I grow my legs, what about my glutes, how can I make them perky. So I'm going to give you a few tips and explanations of what I do and why I do them. Obviously these things are what work best for me. They may not work for you. But you can just give them a try and see what y'all think. So let's get started.
Yeah. Aye. Yeah. Aye. Yeah. Boys. Yeah. Hold on. We them boys.
So for my first exercise, I did seated leg curls. I chose this exercise mainly for the purpose of what's called pre-activation. Let me explain a little what pre-activation is. So pre-activation is a technique that involves turning on a target muscle with an isolation or conditioning exercise that you're going to be focusing on for that specific workout or activity. Certain muscles tend to become lazy or just are not as dominant. So for this case, my hamstrings are much weaker than my quads. My quads are much stronger and they tend to take over when I do most of my leg workouts. So by doing this pre-activation exercise, I'm able to concentrate a little more on my hamstrings and focus on bringing more attention to my hamstrings throughout the rest of my workout, since this workout is going to be targeting more my hamstrings and glutes. This ties in a lot with mind-muscle connection. Mind-muscle connection is when you focus and visualize on that muscle actively contracting. This will help with activation and hypertrophy of that specific muscle, therefore will lead to growth of that muscle. Essentially, this is neuromuscular training. It's getting your body to do exactly what your mind is telling you to do. And eventually, when you're doing exercises, you're able to focus easier on contracting that muscle without having to think so hard as you might in the beginning. Mind-muscle connection definitely takes some practice. I still struggle with it with certain muscles, especially, like I said, with my hamstrings. But I have grown by doing this technique. And back to the point about pre-activation, the key to it is to wake up and activate that muscle, to engage it properly but not fatigue it too much. So with this first exercise, I'm doing high reps, lightweight. So I'm doing the exercise nice and controlled. I'm not swinging my legs too fast. As you see, I'm going slow. I'm really focusing on contracting my hamstrings and squeezing. The other thing I'd like to point out is how my toes are. They're pointing forward. If they were dorsiflex pointed towards the ceiling, that tends to activate your calves a little more, which again, babies your hamstrings. So we'll try to leave your toes forward to help just focus isolating on that hamstring. And again, don't rush this pre-activation step. You need to focus on the contraction, slow on the positive and the negative, nice and controlled, just focusing on that squeeze. So for my second exercise, I'm doing staggered leg press. So this is when one of my legs is going to be higher on the leg press and the other one's lower at the very bottom, just my toe touching. So my top leg, I'm trying my best to push with my heel, and this is going to target more of my hamstrings and glute. So I'm doing 20 reps with my right leg up high, and then I'll switch and do 20 reps of my left leg up high, and this is one set. A tip for this one is to go high and wide with that leg you're trying to target. Alright, now on to the Smith machine split squat. This I have a love-hate relationship with. These things burn. I'm doing 10 full lunge reps and then I do 5 pulses. And then I'll switch to the other side, and that's one set. All right, so an important tip with these is to press down on your heel. Really focus on pressing with that. The one that's up in front, press up with your heel and really focus on using that contraction on your hamstring and glute. Another important point on this exercise is I'm doing pulses, not full reps. So what pulses are in this exercise is I'm going down into a lunge position, but I'm not fully extending up out of it. So it's keeping that constant tension on the muscle, which is going to be your glutes, hamstrings, and quads in this situation, which you'll feel that burn, and that's exactly what you want. Alright, so moving on to the fourth exercise, which is the V squat, and I did 4 sets of 20 reps. I kept the weight pretty light. This is so I could have the movement very slow and controlled and go deep enough into that squat so I can really get that burn in my glute and hamstrings. As you can see with this exercise, my feet are placed high and wide, and this allows me to press on my heels. Pressing on my heels will cause it to activate my glute and hamstrings. I don't want pressure on my toes or my feet to be lower because I'm not trying to activate my quads in this exercise. I'm also trying to bring it down as far as I can before it touches that little bottom lever, so I can get the full range of motion of this exercise and really feel that burn in my glutes. When I push up out of the squat, I'm not fully extending my knees and locking them out. I'm keeping them slightly bent, so it's keeping that tension on the muscle. Another important tip for this exercise is to make sure your back and your butt are pressed against the pad in the back. You don't want it swaying forward where you're going to cause pain in your lower back, and you're not going to fully engage your glutes in this exercise in that case. Okay, these are single leg hip thrusts, and these are awesome for targeting your glutes. Some important points on these is to really press on your heel once again. As you can see, my toe is lifted off a little, so that kind of helps make sure I'm not cheating and pressing with my toe, and it's ensuring that I'm targeting my glute exactly where I want it to. As I'm coming up, I try to make my body parallel with my knee, and once I get to that top, I focus on squeezing my glute. Again, that mind-muscle connection is crucial. Okay, dumbbell sumo deadlifts. I love these. I get really excited to do these always. It's important to keep your legs wide, and as always, press with your heels and having your toes out like a plie squat, and you're gonna go down, making sure you're keeping your back firm and tight, and you go down in between your legs and then back up. And when you're going up, I'm not fully extending and locking out my knees. I'm keeping that contraction on my glute and hamstrings and really forcing that pressure on my heels as I'm going up. With a lot of my exercises, I like to keep it slow and controlled, just because I can really focus on that squeezing and making sure I'm fully engaging my glutes and hamstrings like I want. Okay, seated abductors, and I supersetted this one with my banded lateral duck walks so I could get that extra burn. So with these hip adductors, I like to put my heel on the back end and not fully insert my foot in the actual little holders. This again is making sure it's focusing on where I want to focus. So as soon as I finish my 15 reps, since it's a superset, I immediately get up and I put that band around my thighs, and then I get into a squat position and I walk sideways I maintain that low squat position the entire time, and I'm taking 10 steps to the left, take a tiny rest, and then I'm going back to the right 10 more steps. And that's the superset. That's one set of the superset. Then I repeat and go back to do the hip abductors and back to doing the lateral duck walks. As you can see in the front view, I'm getting a little tired, so my knees aren't fully out like I would like them. So it's good to really focus on pushing those knees out so you can get the full resistant. Okay, so I finished off my workout with the Stairmaster, 22 minutes at level 12. Every week it's different. Even though I feel like I want to die, the Stairmaster does an awesome job at conditioning my legs and glutes. Alright guys, that's it for my leg workout. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so y'all can get some more videos from me. Also, comment below if you have any advice, tips, what y'all want to see, hear more of. Alright, see y'all next time.